handshake at the net, a few whispered words, and then the British tennis legend said something that made the entire room fall silent. Andy Murray, the three-time Grand Slam champion, the man who battled through metal hips and countless surgeries to keep competing, had just paid Alex the ultimate compliment. But it wasn't about her forehand. It wasn't about her ranking. It was about something far deeper. Something that connected two fighters from different generations, different continents, but the same unbreakable spirit. What did Murray say that left tennis fans stunned? And why is everyone calling this the most emotional moment of the Birmingham Open? Birmingham, England, June 2, 2026. Edgbaston Priory Club Players' Lounge. The corridor connecting center court to the Players' Lounge was quiet, a rare pocket of calm in the chaos that had consumed Edgbaston Priory Club. 25,000 fans were still chanting outside. Security teams were still reinforcing barriers. But here in this narrow hallway, two athletes had found a moment of peace. Alex Eala, still flushed from her 6062 demolition of Priscilla Hahn, was tolling off when she heard footsteps approaching. She looked up and her heart stopped. Andy Murray, the three-time Glam Slam champion, the man who had battled through a metal hip and countless surgeries to keep competing at the highest level, was walking toward her. He wasn't in his playing gear. He wasn't there to compete. He was there, sources would later confirm, specifically to see her. Eala had met Murray before, briefly at Wimbledon years ago when she was still a junior dreaming of the big stage. But this was different. This time, she wasn't a wide-eyed teenager hoping for a nod of recognition. She was the top seed at Birmingham. She was a winner. She was someone he had come to see. Alex, Murray said, extending his hand. That was some performance out there. Eala shook his hand, still trying to process what was happening. Thank you, sir. That means a lot coming from you. Murray smiled. Don't call me sir. Makes me feel old. They stood there for a moment. Two fighters from different generations, different continents, but connected by something unspoken. Murray had spent his entire career being underestimated, too slow, they said, too fragile, not talented enough to compete with Federer, Nadal, Djokovic. And yet, he had fought his way to 3 Glam Slams, 2 Olympic gold medals, and the respect of every player who had ever shared a court with him. Eala knew that story. She had lived a version of it herself. The WTA had advised her to withdraw from Birmingham due to fitness concerns. Commentators had questioned whether her ranking was sustainable. Opponents had whispered that her success was a product of her fan base, not her skills. She had heard it all, and she had answered every doubt with her racket. Now standing before her was a man who had done the same, only louder, longer, and against the greatest players the sport had ever seen. Murray leaned in closer, lowering his voice so only she could hear. And then he said something that would leave the tennis world stunned. Birmingham, England, June 2, 2026. Edgbaston Priory Club, Players' Lounge corridor. The cameras caught the moment, but the audio was too muffled to understand. Fans who watched the grainy footage replay over and over could only guess at what the British tennis icon had whispered to the Filipina star. Some lip readers claimed to have deciphered it. Others insisted the exchange was private, meant for no one but them. But within hours, the truth emerged from someone who had been standing just feet away. A tournament official who witnessed the entire exchange. According to that source, who spoke to a tennis journalist on condition of anonymity, Andy Murray leaned close to Alex Eala and said something that made her eyes glisten. You remind me of myself, not the tennis, the fight, the way everyone counted you out, the way you refused to listen. Eala, who had faced down WTA officials, signed a waiver, defying fitness concerns, and faced hostile crowds without flinching, suddenly found herself speechless. Her lips parted, but no words came out. Murray continued. I've spent my whole career being told I wasn't good enough, too slow, too fragile, not talented enough to compete with the greats. And you know what? Every single time someone doubted me, I used it. I didn't let it break me, I let it fuel me. He paused, his eyes meeting hers. You're doing the same thing. The WTA told you to sit out Birmingham. You signed a waiver and won the tournament. Commentators said your ranking wasn't sustainable. You came back and played the best grass court tennis of your career. That's not luck. That's not hype. That's heart. Eala's hand trembled slightly as she gripped a racket bag. I've watched you for years, from your junior days at Wimbledon to now, And I've seen something in you that I've only seen in a handful of players. You don't break when things get hard. You get harder." He extended his hand again, not for a handshake this time, but for something more meaningful. "Whatever you need, advice, support, someone to talk to, I'm here. The journey you're on, I've walked it, and I can tell you the doubts never really go away, but neither does the fight. I have finally found," her voice. "Thank you, Andy. That means more than you know." Murray smiled, that knowing, almost fatherly smile that had comforted young players for years. "I know," he said. "That's why I said it." Murray's admiration for Eala didn't begin in that quiet corridor in Birmingham. It had been building for years, long before she became the top seed, long before she signed that waiver, long before she became a household name in the Philippines. The British legend first took notice of Eala when she was still a junior climbing the ranks. He saw something in her that reminded him of his own journey. The late nights, the sacrifices, the constant battle against doubt. Murray, who was spoken openly about the pressure of being a promising young player in a nation starving for tennis success, recognized a kindred spirit. Eala was carrying the hopes of 115 million Filipinos. Murray had carried the hopes of Great Britain for nearly 2 decades. Their paths crossed briefly at Wimbledon during Eala's junior years, but it wasn't until 2025 that Murray began quietly championing her career behind the scenes. Reports surfaced that Murray's foundation had reached out to Eala's team to offer support, not financial, but strategic advice on handling the media, guidance on managing physical loads, a sympathetic ear for someone who knew exactly what it felt like to be the only hope of a tennis nation. Eala, ever humble, never publicly confirmed the extent of Murray's involvement, but those close to her say the British icon has been a quiet mentor for months, offering wisdom that only someone who has walked the walk can provide. Their connection deepened during the 2026 grass season. Murray, who has won 2 Wimbledon titles and Olympic gold medal on grass, knows the surface better than almost anyone. When Eala arrived in Birmingham, sources say Murray sent her a message. "Trust your feet, stay low, and don't let anyone tell you that you don't belong on this surface." All took those words to heart. Her movement on grass during the Birmingham Open has been sharper than ever. Her footwork cleaner, her slices more precise, her confidence undeniable. Murray's influence, even from afar, was clearly paying off. June 2, 2026. Multiple locations. The moment the story broke, Andy Murray had sought out Alex Eala, pulled her aside, and praised her fighting spirit. The tennis world exploded. Within hours, the hashtag Andy Murray praises Eala was trending in 21 countries. Fans from Manila to London to Melbourne shared the news with a mixture of disbelief and pride. A British tennis icon, a man who had battled through a metal hip, who had won Wimbledon twice, who had faced the greatest players in history, had just called a 21-year-old from the Philippines his kindred spirit. Filipino fans, who had spent years watching their champion fight for recognition, wept openly. Andy Murray doesn't just praise anyone. One fan posted from Quezon City, "He's one of the toughest critics in tennis. If he sees something special in Alex, then it's real. It's not hype. It's not marketing. It's respect." Another wrote, "Murray knows what it's like to carry a nation's hopes. Britain waited decades for a male Grand Slam champion. The Philippines is still waiting. He sees himself in her, and that's the highest compliment anyone could ever give." The praise wasn't limited to fans. Coco Gauff, who had faced both Murray and Eala in her career, tweeted a response that captured the moment perfectly. "Andy Murray doesn't do fake. If he says you're a fighter, you're a fighter."